I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Welcome back to Homebrew Review, and today we are looking at Space Treat Deluxe by Fabrizio Zavagli. My apologies if I didn't get that name right. It seems Italian, so I went for Fabrizio. It could be Zavagli and not Zavagli. I really don't know with a Z at the beginning of a last name. But anyway, like Clamor 5 before it, this is one of the oldest homebrew carts for Atari 2600 that I own. It was first released at Philly Classic, and then this updated deluxe version came out later, and the premise is rather simple. You're trying to get from the bottom to the top of this playfield to collect whatever treat it is, hence Space Treat Deluxe. Then you have to traverse the same playfield all the way back to the bottom from the launcher that you came out of. It may remind you a little bit of Frogger with these moving rows of enemies, and I think that's on purpose because Frogger is a very well designed game and a lot of fun to play. But in this case, you are not trying to get multiple things to the top and keep them there in their own little pods. You have to go back the way you came. And you also have to be careful because while you're maneuvering, there are going to be various, how do I put it? Like, you have extra options, like these little dots that appear, and they're worth points. If you skip over them by moving too fast, you're leaving behind the rewards you could have. And if you clear the top line and think you can just hang out there until you've got a clear path, there will always be something that replaces the item that you picked up that if it crashes into you, it will kill you as well. So it's a balancing act. Sometimes you have to go backward to go forward. If one row is moving too fast and you can't get around it in time, you might have to go back to the previous row. But if that one's moving fast and it crashes into you, then you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. It's a very simple gameplay style premise. You only need to move up, down, left, and right. You don't even have to worry about firing anything. You won't need multiple buttons. You won't even need one button. Just plot your route and move quickly. It's the very simple, very addictive kind of gameplay that early arcade games were known for, and it works very well on Atari VCS. It's just because it's simple doesn't make it bad. In fact, some games, simple would be better because they overcomplicate things by giving you a million things to do and remember a million buttons to press, a million things to switch in and out of your inventory. Sometimes it's all about getting back to the basics, and Space Treat Deluxe is very successful in that approach, and it just accelerates your urge to get better each time you play it, because once you clear 2 or 3 levels, you want to know, how many more can I get through? How many more of the bonuses can I collect? How much faster can it get? What are the treats going to look like on the next level? It keeps you coming back for more. There's always a challenge. Beat yourself, beat your own best score. Get to a higher level than you ever have before. There's always another reason to play Space Treat Deluxe. The graphics are simple, but not simplistic. They're able to get the job done within the limited video RAM and color display abilities of Atari VCS, but they don't look, what is the way to put it? They're pixelated and blocky, but they're a pleasant aesthetic. They're not like chunky, misshapen, or just overly square and undefined. There's different striations of color. They have geometric shapes that are acceptable to the eye. It's overall really well designed. The only thing that I can imagine somebody would complain about would be the lack of background music, but that was actually a very rare occurrence for Atari VCS games, unless it's like Pitfall 2 or Thrust Plus. There aren't a lot of games with background music on Atari 2600 because there just wasn't the processing power or the enhancement chips to make it possible to have music at the same time as everything else. Sometimes you'd get an intro song before a game. Very rarely did you get an ongoing soundtrack during a game. So, within the expectations of what the Atari VCS can do, Space Treat Deluxe certainly achieves its goals. If you're not looking for a revolution, like the greatest thing you've ever seen homebrew on any platform ever, then it's perfectly fine. If you expect the world and an oyster and the pearls, you're going to be left feeling like you didn't get what you were going for. I don't feel that way when I play Space Treat Deluxe. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Thank you for watching Homebrew Review, a shorter episode this week, but I think this is a game, if you've never played before, you'll really enjoy.